So this story is about a young man who every time he saw me, he threw up. Our daughter, Sasha, was a senior in high school, and she was graduating. She wanted to have a couple of friends over at our house. And she never really had any big parties that we knew of. And we happened to be having our annual White House Financial client party that same day. And we said, since we have the bouncy house and we're having a party, you're a senior, you're a good girl, you can have a few friends over that evening. She was babysitting during the day, I think. And so we had our work party, and Sasha still wasn't home yet. The work party was winding down. Everyone left. It was getting nighttime. And I noticed lots of cars going up and down our street. And they wouldn't turn in, but they just kept going up and down our street, which I thought was interesting. And there were a lot of cars. And then Sasha gets home. And then all the cars that were going up and down the street miraculously started turning into our driveways, which ended up being like the entire senior class of Chelsea High School. And we had just thrown this party and worked really hard to throw this party for our clients, and I was exhausted, and these kids are coming in carrying cases of beer, bottles of booze, all of which, or as many of which I could see, we would confiscate and put in the back of our RTV, and they didn't understand why I was confiscating their booze, but we clearly communicated to Sasha during the first time she asked us if she could have this party that there would be no drinking underage or illegal substances at the party. She could have as many people as she wanted over, but there would be no drinking, and we weren't going to advocate underage drinking or any other altering substances. And she said she was good with that. Of course, the minute I started confiscating all the kids' booze, she didn't remember that conversation at all, and a huge brouhaha ensued, which was to be expected, but we were standing by our principles nonetheless. So the night went on. I knew we couldn't confiscate all of it, and they were having a grand old time and sneaking their booze in, but I wasn't going to frisk anybody. And all the parents that were left from the other party, or parents of the kids that were at Sasha's party, were hanging out. We were hanging out and enjoying the kids' booze that I confiscated. And all of a sudden, this gentleman comes staggering out of our barn and is screaming, Sasha, where's your bathroom? And he could barely stand up. He was so drunk. And I said, Sasha, do not let that kid in our house. He's going to throw up. And I said to the parents, watch this. This kid's going to throw up all over the place, which he proceeded to do all over the entrance to our barn. Thankfully, she didn't let him in our house. And I'm like, okay, that's it. Party's over. So we wrapped it up, and I locked down the gates, and kids were trying to give us every excuse to leave all night long. And I stayed up all night and made sure no one left our property. And they were begging and pleading, but no one left, and it was great. I felt really good to inflict that pain on those spoiled kids. And I stayed up all night and went to bed at 6 a.m. and then woke up, came down the stairs, and was met by our daughter Sasha, who said, first thing she said to me was, Dad, remember that the guy that you took his booze and he puked all over? He's coming to get the booze you took from him. That's the first thing she said to me. And I was like, oh, really? Well, that's interesting, because tell him we drank all his booze, and I will escort him to his parents' house and explain to them why we don't have any of his booze that he was coming to get. I'd be happy to do that. Needless to say, he didn't show up, but I couldn't believe the gall and the balls of that kid after puking at my house. I would have been in hiding for 6 months if I did that at someone's house, that he even thought to do that. So fast forward a few years to when we opened our gym and we were on Jackson Road, and one of our coach's sons, who was a collegiate athlete, wanted to bring a friend who was also a big football player at a university playing college football, wanted to bring his friend to work out. I said, that's great, awesome, I'll run him through a workout. I'll be happy to. And so he brought his friend, and I didn't know what this kid looked like or remember, and Sasha was there in the workout, ironically also. And we started the workout, and this kid was supposed to be this big college football player, and he proceeded to throw up all over after one round of the workout. And Sasha later told me that it was the same gentleman who puked all over our entrance to our barn at the party that wanted his beer back. So apparently I just have this effect on this kid where every time he sees me he throws up. So hopefully he doesn't see me anymore, and that's a memorable story that I'll always remember.
Text me privately.